Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Wallach Night with Wednesday. And tonight we have 30 minutes to listen to some information here with Dr. Joel Wallach. And legally, we must say that this meeting is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So what you hear tonight is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure anybody. But that being said, it takes great discipline and changes in our mindset and our habits to have these protocols work. So please, we ask you to mute your phone, and after Dr. Wallach speaks, then you'll be able to ask your questions. We're here to seek true science-based clinical advice and on the use of nutrition, and we want to feel better. So if you have a desire to make a change for 90 days in your lifestyle, you've come to the right place. So Dr. Wallach's research and the development team has created an army while raising his children from a boathouse, a zoo, and on the road. And I'd just like to thank you all for coming tonight. We so appreciate the time that we get to spend with Dr. Wallach, and we're honored to have you. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. The call is yours.
Oh, okay. All right. I want to talk a little bit tonight about the excess cost of the medical system. And that's because insurance pays for things. And so doctors kind of raise the price because insurance pays. I don't feel like they're hurting the patient financially because insurance pays. But it doesn't support better treatment. Okay, it doesn't support better treatment. Let's look at Alzheimer's disease. We spend $345 billion a year in America just to treat the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, not to prevent it or cure it, just to treat the symptoms. $345 billion each year. MS, multiple sclerosis, and Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is multiple sclerosis of the spinal cord, we spend $85 billion a year just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent it or cure it. Parkinson's disease, which we're working on real hard. Each year in America, we spend $52 billion to treat the symptoms, but not to prevent it or cure it. Let's see here. Frontal temporal dementia, which is kind of a new division of Alzheimer's disease. The name says it all, frontal temporal dementia. We spend $7.28 billion a year to treat that. Okay. Let's see here. We have Jacob's disease. Okay, Jacob's disease. Let's see here. We spend $300 billion a year to treat that one. Okay. Let's see here. ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. We spend $1.02 billion a year to treat Lou Gehrig's disease. And then, let's see here. It's one of those things where the whole idea is to treat people. Well, when you look at the medical system, most of what they do treat symptoms. Relieve pain, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Lower blood pressure, nothing wrong with that, but they really rarely get to the basic root cause of the problem. Let's see here. Arthritis, each year in America, we treat 58.5 million cases per year in America, arthritis. Okay. And let's see here. Juvenile arthritis in the United States, under 16 years of age, is 300,000 per year, 3 million in the world under age 16. And then let's see here, the annual cost of arthritis in the United States, just the annual cost of treatment, not to prevent or cure it, just to treat the symptoms, $626.8 billion. Osteoporosis, when you look at the three main characters here, United States, Canada, and European Union, combined, we spend $6.5 trillion a year just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. So let's just take the United States part of that, which is $2.3 trillion a year just to treat the symptoms of osteoporosis. Add the $626.8 billion to that. We're spending over $3 trillion a year just to treat the symptoms of osteoporosis and arthritis, not to prevent or cure it. This is a mess, okay? Then osteoporosis of the skull, which is running rampant right now. I see it so much, it's just very scary. Osteoporosis of the skull. Doctors know nothing about this. That's why Dr. Milan and I and Rebecca came up with the book and the CD set It's all in your head because doctors know nothing about osteoporosis of the skull. When the first cranial nerve is being squeezed, you lose your sense of smell. That's the olfactory nerve. The second cranial nerve is squeezed, the optic nerve. You get ONA, optic nerve atrophy, and you can get, let's see here, glaucoma, which is not blood pressure, but the pressure in the eye going up. You get macular degeneration, okay, where the optic nerve, the optic artery, and optic vein go in and out in the back of the eye, okay? And it's one of those things where we really are in trouble, okay, with a cranial nerve number 2, optic nerve atrophy. Ptosis, cranial nerve number 3, pupils not respond to light. So when the light comes on, your pupil should narrow down, cut a lot of that light going into your eye, but it doesn't do that when the third cranial nerve is being squeezed.
We still connected? We lose Doc?
Doc's
Frozen for a second.
It must be cold there in San Diego, huh? I had to throw an extra blanket on the bed last night. It was freezing here.
That's global warming, Dave.
Right. I wish I
Doc
could use
fell off the
some.
call there.
We lost Doc?
Yep, fell off the call.
Okay. Yikes. All right.
There's a question in the chat. Any way to test for osteoporosis of the skull?
Well, I don't think there's an actual test. There's questions. Ringing in the ears, lots of bad dental issues, throat issues, like if you're feeling like you got something stuck in your throat, even some vision issues, so what osteoporosis of the skull is we have 2 pairs or 12 pairs of cranial nerves that come out each side of the skull, and they come out little pinholes, and those little pinholes fill up with bone matrix because of the osteoporosis, and they start crushing the nerves that come through those pinholes, and the crushing nerves cause these issues, and it's all reversible. When you stop the ongoing damage by stopping the bad foods, and then you start adding the raw materials the body needs to do what it's supposed to do, heal itself. So the body was designed to heal itself, but it can't if we don't have these raw materials. They're called the building blocks of life. Doc's 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids. We need those every day for life.
Okay, I think I'm back. I don't know what was going on there.
All right, Doc. We got you.
Okay, good. Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, trigeminal nerve, that's the 5th cranial nerve, very painful. This is one of the most painful things you'll ever have happen. When that gets squeezed by the skull, it's extremely painful. Trigeminal neuralgia. Usually one side starts first, and then maybe a couple of weeks later, the second side will pop in. Okay. Double vision, strabismus. Okay, it's the 6th cranial nerve being squeezed. Bell's palsy, that's the 7th cranial nerve being squeezed. It's kind of like you have a stroke on one side, your face will droop, and maybe a week or 2 later, the second side will droop. Okay. Then we have the 8th cranial nerve being squeezed. Tinnitus, that's ringing in the ears. That's the auditory branch of the 8th cranial nerve being squeezed. Deafness, again, is the 8th cranial nerve being squeezed. Is the part of the 8th cranial nerve, okay, that deals with hearing. vestibular, excuse me, the vestibular branch, the vertigo, okay, that's again the vestibular branch of the eighth cranial nerve being squeezed. When you have all of those together, it's called Meniere's disease. That's the eighth cranial nerve. Cranial nerve number 9, which is glossopharyngeal nerve. You lose your, when it gets squeezed by osteoporosis skull, you get a loss of the gag reflex. You lose your sense of taste, your voice changes. It's very, very, very disruptive, okay? Then cranial nerve number 10, gastroparesis. This is extremely painful. Gastroparesis. I actually had a call earlier today by somebody who was diagnosed with gastroparesis. That'll bring you to your knees, and doctors will tell you have a ulcer. They want to take your stomach out. No, it's the 10th cranial nerve being squeezed. It goes all the way down into your stomach. COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Hiccups, that's a branch of the 10th cranial nerve, goes to your diaphragm, causes hiccups. Then AFib, atrial fibrillation, the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, goes to your heart, okay? And it tells your heart what to do. And when you have AFib, the doctors think it's it's something wrong with the heart. There's nothing wrong with the heart. It's that 10th cranial nerve being squeezed. You also can get tachycardia, which is rapid heart rate. You can get bradycardia, which is slow heart rate. And none of that has anything to do specifically with the heart, other than the nerves are telling you what to do. Okay. And then a loss of the ability to raise your arms. That's the 11th cranial nerve being squeezed. You can't, your trapeze just doesn't work very well. Okay. And let's see here. We have the 12th cranial nerve, atrophy of the tongue, lose your ability to speak, swallowing. When you have squeezing of the 12th cranial nerve and the 9th cranial nerve, your ability to communicate goes to 0. Okay. And it's one of those things where we call all of this together Wallach's fibrosis, because when you look at the in page number 6 of the book, it's all in your head. Okay, page number 6. This is very scary stuff. Okay. Here we go. The top skull is an autopsy. Okay. And the top of the skull has been removed. You're looking down on the brain. You can see that the skull is a quarter of an inch thick. The second one is also from the skull at autopsy. You take the top of the skull off. You're looking down on the brain. But you'll notice that the skull is 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. That's osteoporosis. And that's why you can see the squeezing of the nerves, squeezing the blood vessels, all this kind of stuff because of osteoporosis of the skull. And doctors will treat you with extraordinary amounts of medicine to deal with all these things. And a lot of times people don't survive this stuff, okay? Because they're just treating the symptoms as opposed to getting rid of the root problem, which is osteoporosis of the skull. And so that's why we wrote the book, okay? That's why I wrote the book, because doctors know nothing about this. Okay, then let's look at some more of this here. Again, costs us each year in America just to treat these symptoms, not to cure anything. Alzheimer's disease, $345 billion. Arthritis, $626.8 billion. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes, $342 billion, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. Heart disease, $316.8 billion, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. Obesity, $260 billion a year. Skin issues, $75 billion. Cancer, $190 billion. High blood pressure, $131 billion. Liver cirrhosis, $14 billion. MS, multiple sclerosis, and Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is MS of the spinal cord, $85 billion. Asthma in kids under the age of 10 is $80 billion. And kidney dialysis is $24 billion. And this is just to treat, these are all just numbers just to treat symptoms. We're talking trillions of dollars here going to doctors' pockets just for treating the symptoms. So this is why we came out with these books. This is why we came out with these nutritional programs. So you have options. And, if you don't have something where you're hemorrhaging to death and you need to have a surgeon anesthetize you and open you up so they can stop the internal bleeding, you don't have something like that, but you have serious pain in your legs and all this kind of stuff, give us a chance first, okay? Because we can rebuild your knees, we can rebuild your hips. I mean, we rebuilt Pat Boone's knees. He was supposed to get a double knee replacement, and of course, he didn't want that. And so It's one of those, I'm hearing a lot of clicking and clanking. I don't know if it's my room here or your room. There's a lot of clicking and clanking. Okay. And so let's see here. Parkinson's disease, $52 billion a year. FTD, frontal temporal dementia, $7.28 billion a year. Let's see here. Jacob's disease, $7.28 billion a year. Excuse me, back up, it's $300 billion a year. ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and Lou Gehrig's disease is $1.2 billion. All those together add up to $490.3 billion a year. That's a $500 billion we're spending just to treat the symptoms of these simple nutritional deficiency diseases. So I urge you to get a hold of the books, get a hold of the CDs, get a hold of the products, and you'll pay wholesale prices for the products. If you get an auto ship, I will pay the shipping. You get rid of the bad stuff, fried foods, processed meats, oils, and glutens, and all this kind of thing. You'll save enough money to pay for these supplements. Bad foods are expensive, okay, not only in their cost, but also the things that they actually do to you, okay? And so it's one of those things where you really, really, really want to get rid of the bad stuff and do the good stuff, okay? And so with that said, I'm gonna go back to our team here. And do you have any questions for me for anything we covered, or you want to go to callers? Hello, team.
Dr. Wallach. Yes, can you hear me okay?
Is this Pam?
Okay. Hi, Dr. Wallach. Thank you so much. That's great information. And, you know, we do have to remember that our head's connected to our belly and our belly's connected to the rest of our body. And we have to make everything work together. We don't just work on one area. It's the whole body. And so we appreciate all that you do. We had a call from somebody earlier in regards to trying to get pregnant, and she's gone through a lot of surgery stuff they're kind of working on with IUIs and IUF. And so they called us back and they said that they'd like to restart the program. So we did give her the list of things to avoid, and such as foods and different things like that. And they do have her on a prenatal and some vitamin C. And that prenatal has, let's see, it has about 250 milligrams of calcium and 45 milligrams of magnesium. And there's 250 tablets in that bottle. Could she increase that until she gets on her healthy body
Well,
pack for
what
her?
other nutrients are in those prenatal vitamins? Does it have vitamin A and B vitamins and things, or is it just those few nutrients you mentioned?
Well, it does have a lot more, but those were the two things that we asked about. And she does have a shunt. She's had 3 brain surgeries, and also, you know, some teeth are missing. Her large teeth never grew in. And her mother,
how old is she?
she's 32.
Okay, 32. Yeah, well, it sounds to me like she's got osteoporosis of the skull. She got all this stuff. They're doing all this brain surgery and skull surgery, and she has dental problems and all this kind of stuff. So it points to osteoporosis of the skull. Okay. And so she's got to resolve this first before she tries to get pregnant. Otherwise, the baby will be at high risk of getting a birth defect because she can't absorb minerals. Okay. We need to get a hold of that book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. 300 pages of safe recipes. And also it goes into the good food, bad food list in great detail. Okay. Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. And then they need the book. I'd go with Rare Herbs and Cures and our Epigenetics, one or both of those books. It tells you what she needs to do to prepare herself for a healthy pregnancy. Okay. And you have to get rid of those bad foods. You have to take all the nutrients. You just can't take 3 or 5 or 10. There's 90 nutrients she needs to help herself and also support a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby. Okay, so this is not simple. This is going to take a lot of effort to put everything together, to make sure that every piece is in place. And so when she does get pregnant, everything will be in place. we don't want to have 3 things missing. And well, I did everything. And then you check the list. Oh, well, there was 3 things missing here. And that's the cause of the problem. Okay. And so we don't want any of that. And so this is something they got to take great care, make sure that our list is covered. And that includes getting rid of the bad foods as well as taking in all of the nutrients. Okay.
So, Doc, if I may, Pam, this gal, when she was born 6 weeks, I think, after she was born, they found out that she had, I think it's hydrocephaly. Is that the correct pronunciation, Doc?
Okay, well, hydrocephalus is fluid accumulating in the brain cavity. And she may have already had osteoporosis of the skull when she's born.
Okay, right.
It's not an aging thing. It has to do with nutritional deficiencies when you go from a sperm and an egg, a zygote, to building the skeleton, including the skull, the muscles, the liver, the heart, the brain, kidneys, muscles, pancreas. All this stuff gets built from these nutrients, and they all have to be in the right place at the right time. And if one is missing or one is only 10% of what it should be, that's when you get all these problems.
Right. They had her on a ventilator for I think 30 days or 60 days when she was a baby, and they said that her adult teeth never came in. So she did the health survey, and she only had 3 things on it. So she's 32 now. She had her last surgery when she was 17, and she's been trying to get pregnant for about 3 years. And we told her, what foods she's got to avoid, and probably a brain and heart pack would probably be the best pack to get on for at least 6 months, her and her husband, before they tried to have children again.
That's correct.
And,
you said that very well. You need to do it for at least 5 to 6 months before they get pregnant. You can't take it. Oh, I missed a period. Okay, well, the baby's already farming, and if you're just starting to take these nutrients, there's trouble to begin with.
Right. So I think they'll be on board. I don't think they're on the call right now, but we'll let them know what you said, and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's a team effort.
You're welcome.
It's a team effort. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, Pam, any hands up?
Yeah, having healthy babies is a lot more than having sex in the back seat.
Right.
Oh, they've been married. They've been married for a while, but could you update Doc on Lillian and the hospital there?
I don't have that update, Pam. You'll have to do that. Sorry.
Well, so she had the surgery and she seems to be okay, but her left foot is still swollen. They're just wrapping it in an ACE bandage, and she's not getting any type of compression, back and forth. It's just they wrapped it. And her food, she says she does not have a choice of food in the VA. It's very surprising. Usually you can write out your own menu. Have you heard of that, Doc?
I don't know. Maybe officers can, but I don't know if they're,
Okay. So I just wondered if
are they moving her now, Pam? You said to a nursing home or a long-term care facility or something?
Nope, she's going to go into a rehab after this. So she's been there
rehab.
for.
Okay.
Okay, and then we had the Zoom user you were talking to earlier.
Was that Max?
Yeah,
Correct.
I'm here.
Okay. So,
I'm here.
Doc, can we go over Max's protocol you gave him 2 weeks ago, so he knows how to take his products?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Doc, the OsteoFX.
Okay, well, the directions are on all the bottles. Okay.
Right, but
you take no buts.
well, see, I was confused because you all talked about doubling up on things.
How much do you weigh?
I weigh 230.
Okay,
Okay,
so.
so that's
you-
one scoop twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah, I should
The
say
one
one
scoop
per
is 100
body
pounds.
weight.
Yep. One scoop is a 100-pound dose.
Okay. And then just
you
follow.
got the Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Yep.
That 2 scoops is a 100-pound dose.
Yep.
And how is that what you're taking now? You said you're kind of lethargic now after taking
Correct.
it for 6 days.
Correct.
So, like I said, you may have had some die off, and it's going through your liver now. All that stuff that died, it's got to come out, and that can cause some, lethargy. So, just keep doing what you're doing, and keep us posted. You got my phone number. You can call me, so we don't got to wait till next week. Give me a daily call and let me know how you're feeling, and if we got to tweak it, we will.
I appreciate it. I just had a couple other questions for Doc.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
go
Doc.
ahead. Go ahead.
My first question is, my mom, she's a pretty smart cookie, and she was looking at everything I got here, and she said that vitamin A, vitamin E, and some of the fat soluble vitamins are kind of a toxic level if you take everything that you said. What is your comment on that?
Well, why don't you stop listening to me and listen to your mom?
I don't understand.
Okay. If
Just
you
be
want my
straight with
opinion,
me.
I give you my opinion. You either do it or you don't.
Okay. Okay.
Can I take
So-
this one, Doc?
Huh? Go ahead. You take it.
Can I take this one?
I'm sorry.
Can I take this one?
Can you take this one?
Yeah, can I take that question?
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't say it that way. Okay. Yeah. Take the question.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So, Max, the vitamins that we've been prescribed by the pharmaceutical industry our whole lives are synthetic, and so they are toxic to the body. Doc's nutrition is plant-derived, and, that recommended daily allowance, it's really that we call a recommended death allowance, right? They just keep you above death. So we can really take about 30,000 times the RDA, and you definitely are not taking that. There's not a toxic. You couldn't afford to overdose on Doc's plant-derived nutrition.
Okay, sir, that answers my question. And the only other question I have, I'm not trying to hang you up here a long time, is
Not at all.
do people experience gluten withdrawal?
You could. Yeah. Is that like your favorite food? Wheat, barley, rye, or oats?
It's just like something's missing, and
Okay.
it
Well,
seems
here's
like
what
that's
you
what.
do. You replace the wheat, barley, rye, and oats with rice,
Yep.
like an Asian.
Yep.
And you live longer and healthier. Do not use buckwheat. Buckwheat doesn't have any gluten in it, but it has Fago, F-A-G-O pyrines, which are 10 times worse than gluten.
Okay. All right. I appreciate everything y'all do, and I appreciate your team. Let's get her done here. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Keep in touch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, call me, Max, and I'll walk you through this, okay?
Yeah, sounds good, Dave. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anybody
9
else got any questions?
And I thank you all for coming. It's 9 o'clock, top of the hour, and it's been quick, but we are so grateful that we got to spend that time with Dr. Wallach. Thank you all for coming. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. Thank you, Doc.
Hey, God
Thanks,
bless you. Thank
Doc.
you, Pam. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, team. Thank you, everybody. God bless. God bless. Talk to you later.
You're welcome. God bless you too. Have a great night. Good night, everybody. See you next
Night.
week.